Good morning, everyone. It's Jess and Sal.
Hey everyone.
And today, here we are again baking something new while I'm also repping another college, UC Berkeley, aka Cal. And today, we're going to be making banana bread. We just had a pop-up this weekend. I actually made this exact recipe, and I also made the lemon blueberry loaf that I had put out earlier. And I will say the banana one actually sold first, and I actually got a lot more compliments on that one. So that's what we're going to be making today. It's pretty easy. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I have my coffee here. As Stephanie Sue says it, let's get into it. So first, I have this bowl here. I am using a whole stick of butter, which is 8 tablespoons of butter, making sure that it's soft, melted. We put it out this morning and it's gotten soft enough to the point where I think I can start mixing it. I'm going to use this handy dandy gadget that we bought my brother actually to whisk it. It's just gonna make my life a little easier. Feel free to just whisk it yourself. Also, something to keep in mind if you're using a gadget like this, and something I've learned, just making sure that you're using a big bowl because it's going to go everywhere, okay? And then I kind of like to think that these are quote unquote healthier banana bread. The recipe that I am taking this from actually calls for 3/4 cups of sugar, but I am actually going to substitute that for some yogurt that has 15 grams of protein. So my brain makes me think it's a little healthier. And then also 1/2 cup of wildflower honey. You can use kind of any honey. My favorite honey is actually, I think it's called like orange blossom, but we don't have that on hand. So we're just gonna use what we have. And the yogurt that I'm gonna be using is actually banana flavored. So it's also gonna give it that extra banana flavor in there. I actually don't think it's overwhelming, huh babe?
No, I really like the flavor.
No, and you don't even like banana.
I don't like banana.
And then we're gonna do 1/2 cup of honey. This is the one we have right now that we got from Costco, but we usually buy it local. And when you do buy it local, they have this one that's called orange. And I really like that one just because it's a little bit more sweeter. But like again, Costco only has this one, at least in our Costco. Once you have your honey, your yogurt, we're also going to add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. I ran out, so I'm using my brother's. I'm sure this is not what this machine was made for, but it's coming in handy. I mean, look at that. I did that so fast. Okay, there's that. Now that I found this machine, I'm just going to be lazy and I'm going to use it to smash my bananas too. So 3 ripe bananas. Honestly, Sal and I have used a lot riper bananas. I'm like, ripe. I'm going to start off by using a fork first to kind of get the smushing going. Because you want to make sure it's really mushy like applesauce. This is kind of the consistency I got it like in the fork. And then I'm going to go ahead and use this handy dandy gadget again. Okay, smashed bananas. We're going to add that into our bowl. Then I finally understand why they say to separate your eggs before you use them in a different bowl, because you never know if you're going to get eggshells in them, and that's true. And also if your eggs are bad, then you've not ruined your batter, but how are you going to get that out of your like big bowl, right? So that's definitely helped me. So 2 eggs into our mix. We're going to use my favorite machine again. So in a separate bowl, I already have 1 3/4 cups of flour. I'm going to add a teaspoon of baking powder and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I always just use the back and I mix that all together. Okay, once you think you've given that a good mix, we're going to bring this back. We're going to do that. And then I'm gonna call in Sal to do the whisking. We're gonna add the rest of this in here. My handy dandy machine was not working.
That's why you need homegrown Mexican-American muscle.
All natural, yeah. Organic.
Organic.
He got a little chlorine in him right now?
I
do.
Organic. We went to the gym, both of us. Jess went to go actually work out, and I went to go swim, which was nice. I pretty much, when I was growing up, used to swim every summer. Hi, everyone. In addition to that, last night we watched Lady and the Tramp on VHS, because if you guys haven't seen it, I have that video where I converted my mom's tapes to digital, but I also just like the idea of watching VHS tapes. And because Jess loves me so much, when she goes thrifting, she still looks at stuff for me, even though I'm not there. And she bought a bunch of old Disney movies.
Can I show?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so you have Lady and the Tramp. We already watched this one. They had Beauty and the Beast. They had The Little Mermaid, Sleeping Beauty, and they had Snow White. So I grabbed them on because I grew up watching all of these princess movies and all these movies like this. So when I saw them, I was just so happy because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to take these. We have a VHS player. And then I texted Melissa and I said, hey, like, you know, can we rewatch some of these? And she told me that she's never seen Sleeping Beauty and that she's never seen Snow White. So we're going to actually, I think I'm going to start us off with Sleeping Beauty tonight. We're gonna watch those.
My favorite part of the stuff inside the Lady and the Tramp one, because obviously we all know Lady and the Tramp, the spaghetti scene, is a mail-in rebate for $5 for ragu sauce. This rebate is valid from September 13th, 1998 through January 31st, 1999. So this expired 26 years ago. This is older than me. Well, now we have this all nice and mixed up. So I'll let Jess take over again as the real baker.
Sal went ahead and is lining our pan. So thank you, Sal. So here is my mix. I have a cup of chocolate chips. They're semi-sweet chocolate chips. Honestly, when I first did this recipe, I used half semi-sweet and I used half dark chocolate, and that has been my favorite. We just don't have any right now, but honestly, it's your preference. Even if you think this is too much, use less. This is what I'm using. I'm not gonna do all of it though. I'm gonna do like 3/4 in here right now, and then I'm gonna use a little bit left over to put on top, because that's also what makes it look really, really pretty. Yeah. Like that's how much I'm leaving behind. It's not too much. And then you're just going to fold it in. Once you think it's nice and folded, I'm gonna have Sal come over here. So I have Sal line this. And what we've learned is this works better with two people.
Okay. So I'll hold the bowl.
You hold the bowl and
Okay.
I'll scoop it in?
Yeah.
Not too far for you?
No.
Okay.
I have long arms.
Okay.
Okay. I always get nervous.
I'm just gonna smooth it out. Now that you have it all smoothed out, ready to go, that's when you're gonna add the rest of your chocolate chips. Okay, and that's what it looks like. And so now we're gonna stick this into the oven. We're gonna do 350 for 1 hour. See you then. Go enjoy your coffee, go read a book, play League. Go put an old movie on. I don't know. Go play with your dogs. Give your dogs attention if you haven't given them attention. Okay, everyone. How beautiful is that? Look at that. I mean, I know we already mentioned this already, but this bread was the first bread to sell out, and people really liked it. So let's have a piece. Let me show you a cut. It's moist. Okay. This is how good this is. I don't like the end of any bread. I always give it to Sal. But this, I will eat the end. It's so good. It's just so moist.
Yeah. This is my favorite. I don't drink coffee because I have a problem with drinking coffee. Like once I start drinking coffee, I start drinking a lot of it. But I have been at work whenever Jess makes this loaf, like a little smidge of just like coffee, and just sip that and then eat one of these.
I will say, the cup of chocolate chips is kind of heavy.
I mean, ultimately,
it's preference.
that is a preference thing, because something that I like, but Jess doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Because we're a little conscious about, like, if we want to share this with people, We don't put nuts in it.
Yeah.
But I really like putting like walnuts or pecans in it. But like if we have friends come over, we don't want to be like, yeah, it has nuts. So sorry, you can't have any, you know? But everyone can have chocolate.
Yeah, one of my jobs when I was in the Bay Area, I had to work with a lot of kids from different areas, and there was just like a lot of allergies, especially nut allergies. It wasn't just like eating, it was airborne and different things like that. So it's really important to me that I try to consider that, right? Like if it's just us, it doesn't really matter, but because I don't think anyone in our immediate family or friends really has a nut allergy. But like when we were selling this, I was like, okay, I don't want to put any nuts in this. Okay, guys, well, thank you for joining us again. I will leave the recipe below of this banana bread. It is so delish. Let me show you again. Look at that. It's so good. Please remember to like, subscribe, different things like that. Sal is working. I am not, so I'm considering making a series of maybe making him dishes from cookbooks and different things like that, or just trying to bake a little bit more. The individual whose recipe this is from, I actually saw that she had a cookbook and I was considering buying that, so we'll see. But thank you for joining us and we'll see you later. Bye.